is Kelvin before Gumbi, and I'm so honored to be here to speak on behalf of the creative industry. I'm excited, in fact, I shouldn't lie. I think for the longest time, we felt like we were undermined or underrated with our potential. But to be involved in such events, to be asked to speak or to represent an industry, I think for me it's an exciting thing. I think we're moving in the right direction. And I just wanted to say thank you for considering us, the young people. First of all, I just wanted to ask a few questions. How many people love music? Music, yeah. Do you have a radio in your car? Yeah, you have? You have a radio in your car, right? How many people are putting on clothes right now? But you're not raising hands, you see? So many questions I can ask. You know, this event, you see that banner right there? Someone made that. You know, there was a designer who made that. And he sat down on a computer for like maybe 4 or 5 hours to come up with that design. You know, the clothes you're putting on, someone else designed that. How many people have houses here or renting one? How many people? An architecture did that, and that's a designer. Do you know where he belongs? The creative industry. How many people right now are sitting on laptops or they depend on a Zoom call to do some tasks for their work? How many? Let's interact, you know, I mean, hands. I'm a creative, I like to interact with people. So that software that you use, that Zoom software, it helped us a lot during COVID-19, right? You know, that's the first time that this world realized that, you know what, we can work from home. Now it's a thing. Still do work and report. Teams, I can mention a lot of things. And it is so sad that in our country, as a nation, we've been taught, you know, from a young age that you are only eligible to be called someone if you say you're going to be a doctor, you know, a lawyer. You know, if your son, let's just be practical here. We are honest. We're just going to be honest, right? If your son comes to you and your daughter and says, the son says, I want to be a pilot. You be a proud parent. And then your daughter comes and says, I want to be a fashion star. Or you are going to be angry at your child. And in fact, you are going to make sure that this child changes her passion or her dream to become something that you think would make her acceptable to the society. And that is maybe a lawyer, kaya engineer, all of these things that we've been taught to, you know, to become. And you know what that has done. In fact, it's a struggle that I went through as a young person. My dad used to work with Malawi Broadcasting Corporation, MBC. He's quite big. I know a lot of people know him from that age. You know, his name is before Gumbi. He used to bring things from music, you know, and he's the guy who gave me the first microphone. And it used to puzzle me when I told him that I wanted to become a musician or some creative guy. He used to look at me funny, like, no, it can't be that, you know. Years later, I went to school, I did my, and honestly, guys, do not deceive yourself to think that creatives are not educated or they don't know what they're doing, you know. There are people with degrees. I've got a degree in IT. I've got a diploma. I've got a diploma in computer engineering. I've got so many. I've got a certificate in Web 2.0. I went to Yali. There's so many things that I've done, but I decided to follow my passion. So when I finished IT, my degree in IT, I went to my parents and I told them politely, you know, I'm done now. You know, so this is the paper, the degree. Now, can I do music? Can I go and pursue what I love? They didn't have any excuse. They allowed me. Years later, I started working with Tiveni TV as a producer and presenter. And I worked there. I started as a volunteer in 2013. And fast forward, in 2016, I decided to quit. someone would say why, or ask me why would you, think of quitting a job? Because I feel like as a country we've got jobs, but to some extent they are not sustainable. They cannot sustain you as a creative. I'm talking about creative jobs right now. So you become an artist, a presenter, you become a radio personality, but you still have to juggle to make that extra buck. So if you ask me how many jobs we are able to create, I'll tell you a lot. A lot. I've got a friend right there. You see him, he's all suited up, red tie. You see that guy? His name is Hago. Have you guys heard about Fatani, the movie? We are not answering. Have you heard about the movie Fatani? It made buzz, right? That movie created 350 jobs, and I was one of those people. Did you know that? A movie, 350 young people were employed. There was a sound guy, I'll tell you, there's fashion, music, there's architecture, there's heritage, there's a lot. You can Google. The information is everywhere. But the sad thing is that these creative jobs, they are undermined. And only the creative industry, the young people, we are creating these jobs for ourselves. It's so rare to hear that there's a funding that is directed to the creative industry. It is so rare. Right now, it's agriculture this, agriculture that. 100. Last night I went to last night I went to Standard Bank. I was working there. We were live streaming the event, and I watched a documentary. Dr. Napoleon Zombe. And his hard work. You know what he said? Courage. We have a lot of courage as young creative people, but you don't care about us. You don't. You don't even want us to come in these places because you think Tibwe Sajisogonese. No. No. Over two, a lot of things. You have forgotten totally that I've got an idea that maybe in the future I can employ your child because of how I'm dressed or how I'm looking. And if you sit, guys, there's a lot of things that happen in this country and it frustrates us as young people. In fact, when they saw that I'm speaking here, a lot of young people sent me WhatsApp messages. And the frustration is the same. A lot of artists in Malawi are creating jobs for a lot of people, but they are broke. They are broke. Gides Chalamanda, perfect case study. Generated 50 million views on TikTok. Do you know what that means if you are a person from America or Zambia? That means money. You get paid for views. How many people have phones in here who are scrolling? Even some are scrolling right now as I'm speaking. I mean, Facebook, I figure about video, they'll click, they'll watch. That click is money in some other country. Gides Chalamanda was not supposed to be broke. He was supposed to be rich. He was supposed to have a house. But he's broke. You know why? Because he started from our house when you told your kid that you can't be an artist because that's not a job. You consider what we do as a hobby. But it's not true. Do you know how much that camera costs? $250,000 US. How am I going to buy that and come and shoot this event if you are not going to pay me? These are things that we're struggling with. Late payments. We are young entrepreneurs. I was sitting with one guy there, he was also talking about the same. You know what? 2023 probably will come back and talk about the same things. I agree with him because I've been in these meetings so many times. I've got even documentaries because I record. When I go live stream, I record these things. And sometimes I just shake my head like, you have youth meetings that are happening, but the youth are not there. You have decisions that concern the youth, but the youth are not there. It starts from our home. We need to change that. Sit down with your kids. Ask them what they want to be. You'll be surprised. They'll tell you they want to be a doctor when in their bedroom, they are designing. Because they're scared. You tell them that that's not a job. And you know what happens? Let me tell you what happens. This is an ongoing cycle. you grow up, if I am to come and shoot an event or what, for example, practical example, every weekend we have weddings. I come through and I tell you that I will charge 350,000 and I'll come with 3 cameramen. These are jobs that I'm creating. 3 cameramen, I am the one who's managing the edit, our edits. When I go home, these are jobs, you know. But if I tell you 350,000 kwacha, you're going to look at me and say, you say, yeah, but tell you what, if that camera drops, I won't even have enough money to buy a new one because that camera costs more than 1 million. So, my plea is this. Anyway, I had a presentation, but you know, I even told myself that you are wasting your time making this presentation because you already know what to say. Yeah. I already knew what I was going to say, but I was like, you know, let me just do, you know, to look professional. But when you are going through these things, I don't think these things would make sense. That's why Dr. Napoleon Zombe was able to come here and present without even, you know, he knows, he's living his passion. We are passionate about what we do. And you know what? If you invest in passion, I guarantee you, you cannot lose because this guy is going to be going to work and he's going to love what he's doing because it's a passion. And us creatives, it's a passion. But you don't invest in us. There's a guy in Zomba. He's got a company called Extreme, I think Extreme Automobile or something. He makes go-karts. Go-karts. You know my go-kart? These are like racing cars. There's a Malawian who is making these things. In Zomba. But if you sit down with him, he tell you, they are Zungu. They are foreigners who go to him and buy these things. If you go on Facebook right now, search Extreme Automobiles Zomba, it will come up. He's making cars. He's got a potential to make a Malawian, from scratch, a Malawian-made car. I don't know, but this guy is innovative. That's all I'm trying to say. But you barely hear organizations, private sector, go to people like this and say, we want to sponsor. In fact, they might get arrested. We know the guy who did it. Helicopter, Anabanga helicopter. What happened to that guy? So many things happened. In fact, maybe he was frustrated. There are young people who are leaving this country because of these frustrations. And they are making and creating jobs for other countries. The guy in South Africa was making fuel from plastic bags. Now we want him to come back. Hey, fuel crisis, guy. If this guy was here, but let's just be honest. If this guy was here, if he was funded, he's making fuel using plastic papers or whatnot. I can give you so many examples. There's Vinny Visuals. He's 18 years old, a videographer. Right now, he's in America. He has met one of the biggest celebrities in town, Padoranking. And this, what Padoranking said to this guy on video, it's on Facebook if you find it. He said, this kid is the future. But if this kid, he's been here doing videos for everyone. But we don't see that future in these people until they leave and go somewhere else. And you know what's going to happen? He'll become big, and then we're going to start. He's a Malawian. Bring him back home. Hey, this and that. By that time, this kid would have created 17 jobs for other people there. Because in videography, I'll tell you this, in videography, script writer, all these are jobs within the creative sector. But I'll tell you this, if we are not going to start incorporating these young creatives, this country is going to have frustrated young people who are the majority. That kid anavaa bank with a motorcycle. That guy was a creative. But if you sit down maybe with him and ask him what happened, I don't know. But I feel like a lot of young people are frustrated sitting at home because we've been trained as a nation to go to school, get a degree, and look for a job and not to create one. So you've got a lot of young people sitting at home, waiting, writing application letters. In fact, maybe most of them are here. How many people have written application letters for in the past 2 weeks? Raise your hands. Let's be honest, guys. We are here to make a case. Raise up your hand. So many. So, way forward. I can speak for a long time, but you know what, I think at the end of the day, our case has been made. You need to start sitting down with young creatives. There's an industry that you guys are undermining and neglecting, but it's got the potential to create jobs. If you look to, like if you search online, Nigeria, millions of people are employed under the creative industry. Sweden, Scotland, you know, even like big Western countries, 5-point-something billion US dollars created annually from creative sector. You know, and this is not just a collective, like one photographer or videographer. It's the whole creative industry. So, if you ask me, I'd say if you are looking at us as the next leaders of tomorrow, then this is the time for you guys to start inviting us in places like this, involving us in your decision making, because we've got a part to play. And lastly, I think we have to look into our policies, especially policies that will protect our intellectual property as creatives. Intellectual property, there's money in there, a lot of it, and sadly, Malawi can't protect us. You know, there's a client that called me and told me, how come my video has been blocked on Facebook? I can't see it anymore. And I remember that at their wedding, we were playing copyright music that doesn't belong to us. Ajina kiss dane omwana boya gonora basa 50 million. So many people, foreigners, that we play when we go to weddings. So if I'm streaming that wedding, what Facebook will do, it will say, you're playing content that does not belong to you, and they'll mute it. You know why they do that? They're protecting the one who created that content, because by watching it, by listening to it, you are paying them. Here, it doesn't happen. Nothing. You create, you stay broke. You get famous, you die broke. I think I'm a pretty good rapper and an artist. But I decided to put it aside and venture into other skills because I was thinking about my sustainability as a person. Because why? Malawi does not honor the creatives. So policies, I should be able to create something, a product, and go to patent it. Where can we go patent our stuff? Someone tell me, I think we've got people that, you know, in high positions here that can tell us to go where we need to go if we need to patent or protect our intellectual property. Where? So I'll end up being a famous guy, but I'll die poor. Is it because I'm supposed to die poor? No, it's because we're neglecting an industry that has got big potential. So policies, we need to make policies that will protect infrastructure. Our education system, guys. Let's incorporate entrepreneurship. Young people should come out of college thinking I can create jobs, not I want to be employed. Anyamade Naga they were going to Dubai, and one of them is one of the guys that I work with, is one of my cameramen. They were supposed to go to Dubai to work under Amazon. And then I figured by airport, a bunch of kids arrived there and they were told, sorry, Banova, thank you. Banova, Sumungate will be the information hasn't been approved. So go back, we'll call you back. These are a lot of young people. They are willing to go to Dubai and work. And they are creating